Today, I want to show you something that could be the difference between you losing all your money to trading or becoming profitable. So, today, I'm going to show you something called split martingale, where, for example, if you lose, you're supposed just to multiply the stake by 2. But for us, I want us to have a way where we divide that loss by 2 or by 3 or by whichever number you want, so that the next trade is not taken with the biggest risk possible. And that keeps your account going. And if the market is turning, you'll be able to cut your losses early or regain your profits very easily. So let me show you. So as usual, we're gonna start with creating a variable. I need a stake. I need an initial stake, and I need a martingale split. That's all. So come to the run once block, and note I'm doing this on a rise and fall bot, but you could choose any market. Come to math. I need a stake of 14. Duplicate this. Let's right click. Initial stake of 14 as well. Duplicate again. Martingale split. How many times do I want to divide my loss? Let's start with 2. You could do 3, you could do 4. Just do what pleases your eye. Drag the step there. Click the sort blocks. Everything is in order on that side. So let's drag to this side. Sell conditions. You can collapse this. Restart conditions. That is where we do all the magic. So come to logic. Get an if statement. So if it's a loss, do something. So close the utility, come to analysis, come to contract. The result is a loss. What do? We change the total loss by the amount of stake, because of course you're staking the same amount. So once we have the result, if the result is a loss, what do we do next? We create another variable here, total loss. Yeah, total loss. I think we call it total loss, or we call it total lost. Total lost. And then we also have another one, count loss. So this will be the number of the losses. So the total loss here. So if the result is a loss, then change the total loss. Come to math. Come here. Change this total loss by the stake, because it's a stake we are adding up. When you lose, the stake is what changes by the stake, and that's cool. So what happens when it gets into this block? So if it's a loss, change the total loss by stake. And if the count loss is greater than 0, then set the count loss to a 0. Let me just show you that. So come to logic again. If you don't understand, just redo the blocks until you get what exactly we are doing. So if count loss, so these will be counting our losses. I think I can use, I can come to logic, I can use this variable. If the count loss is greater than math, if it's greater than a 0, we need to set that count loss to 0. Set count loss to a 0. That's okay. So the block is okay, but this block also needs an else statement. If we win, what do? We need to minus the profit from the total loss, and then also check if the total loss is less than 0, because we don't want it to go to -1. We set the total loss to 0. Okay, let me show you. So come to, what is this thing? Math. Could just have picked this. So duplicate, bring it here, and then we look for, we change the total loss by, now this will be a bit different. So let me go to am I looking for? Analytics. No, contract details. This is what I'm looking for. Just put that there. And then come to math. This is what I want. So put that there. And then put this there. No, made a mistake. Undo. Not that one. There's something I'm looking for. This one. Yeah, so then contract details, looking for a profit. So we just minus the profit there so that the loss goes down. And then what else do we do? We check if the total loss is less than zero. Because of course, if you've cleared out all the loss, now you need to go back to the initial stake. So come to logic, if. So this has quite a few blocks, if else, if else. So variables, if total lost, I don't need it here. Math, not math, but logic. If total lost is less than, hit math, less than zero, what do we do? We set the total loss to zero. So we go back to the initial stake that we are using, set total loss to math, set to zero. That should be cool. So we have this if statement that checks if the result is a loss, change the loss and count the loss. If you've won, subtract the profit from the loss, and then if it's less than zero, set it to zero. But we will need another if statement. We'll need another if statement that does one thing. So the if statement will check if the total loss is greater than zero. So now let's say you've lost quite a few times. Let me just click outside. No logic. So just bring it here. There. So let's check if the total loss is greater than zero. Let me see if I can copy this one and duplicate. No, if the total loss, change the sign, is greater than zero. Just hang in there. You change the count loss. So if the total loss is less than zero, just change the count loss. Count loss is the variable that is counting the losses. So let me just copy this. Change count loss. So you change the count loss by 1, of course. So that should be the default. Then I can just duplicate this. I have a few if statements here. So if the count loss is equal to 1, if it's equal to 1, set the stake to. So we need to set the stake here. We set the stake to total lost times 100 divide by the payout of that particular trade type that you're using. The payout for rise and fall, I think, is 96%, if I'm not wrong. Let me just do the calculation. So I need math here. Let me just put it there. So first of all, I need the total lost. So come to variables, total lost. We are multiplying this by 100. Sorry. You're multiplying this by 100. So math again. I think this is what has divided here. Multiplying this by 100. Then we're dividing it by your payout. Your payout is 96%. So I'll also need to change this again. This is 96. Sorry. 96. And then we're dividing it again by our martingale split. And we have the whole block. That's what we set the stake to. So our stake will be our total loss. What we have lost multiply it by 100. This is normal arithmetic. Divide it by 96. 96 is a payout. So yeah, 96 is a payout. And then from 96 divide by our martingale split. So if our split is 2, divide by 2. If our split is 3, divide by 3. I hope that's clear. So now once you have this if statement needs an else. And what will be on the else? If your loss is not greater than 1, what are you doing? Set it to 0 and then set the stake to initial stake. So this should be quite easy. So math set. So we set our count loss to 0 and then we duplicate and set our stake. Stake to, I had this variable to make sure things are be easier. So to initial stake. So just get it from here. If the result is a loss, change the total loss and then count the loss and all that. If it's not a loss, minus the profit. So if you win and you had lost before, minus the total loss, set the total loss to its number. If the total loss is less than 0, come here, we change the count loss by 1, and then count loss if it's equals to 1, so you have lost only once, set the stake, divide by 100, divide by 96, or multiply by 100, divide by 96, which is a payout, and then martingale split is the last division. If you have not lost, set the count loss to 0, so the count loss now has gone to 0. You've replaced all your losses and set the stake to initial stake. So you'll have a last one, because I realized if the stake is something like 0.35, it's very difficult to do these multiplications. So for guys who are using such a low stake, brothers, this is the only way I could manage to help you. So you come here, variables I need to compare, logic. So here, variable stake, sorry, let me pick it, put it there, and then pick this, put it back. So I need to check if your stake is less than 0.35. There's no stake that's less than 0.35. That's the minimum allowable. 0.35. Set the stake to 0.35. There. I wanted to duplicate that, but it's okay. So guys, on that very low stake, that's the only way I could make sure the board doesn't crash when you put your 0.35. But you can feel free to tweak it as much as you can and come up with what you find best suitable for you. So now that this is done, this is the whole board. So rise and fall, stake, initial stake, martingale split, stake there, and then restart trading conditions block, and make sure to check this very correctly. So it's total cost times 100 divided by 96 divided by martingale split. And if you look at it here, you can see we first do this, then we divide. So not the other way. We first do the total loss times 100 divided by 96, then we divide. So let's run to see if this works as expected. Let's change to just one of them randomly. So let me see. I don't think there's anything else. Let's run. So my expectation is if you lose, so that's a win. If you lose, it divides that loss by 2. If you lose again, it adds to total loss, divides by 2. So your risk goes down. So it should trade with 7 point something. The next one, yeah, 7.29. If it wins 2 times, 3 times, all the losses have been recovered and it can go on. So it wins that one. So if it wins the last one, that's it. It goes back to 14. So let's see. So it loses, so it goes back 3.93. So it divides this loss because we are already on profit. Instead of this would have traded with times 2, 14 point something, and this would be 28. This would be 48. So this shows you what happens in case of losses. You can be able to quickly recover. I don't know why it's that slow for me today. I think it's my network connection. Yeah, but let's see. I just want to see one last recovery. But if we are not able to find it, I hope you can go pick the bot, try it out on your account, on your demo account before you move it to your live. But this can save you a lot of money and you can become easily profitable because it just takes your total loss. The problem is if you have 15 losses. If you have 15 losses, that means you're in the wrong market. You have analyzed wrongly. But if it's these normal losses, you can easily recover like that one. Anyway, guys, I hope you have had a nice one. If you've not seen the AI bot that we created, make sure to go look at it at the top here. Adios. Let me stop this once it goes back to 14. That's all I wanted to say. Bye bye.